Welcome back. If you joined us for part one, I'm so glad you're here for part two. And if you're just jumping in, you may want to go back and start there. Either way, let's dive in. What would you say if you're like looking back from when you had the idea on the couch? What do you think has been the hardest part so far? I'm sure there'll be many more hard parts come. Yay. But
Yeah,
what
yeah.
do you think has been the hardest part so far?
Actually, I almost started crying. This is I actually might cry. I
It's
was
okay.
I was
This is a
prepared
this is a
actually.
cry zone. We can cry here.
um, I was prepared to actually. I The hardest part so far has been that this this took off really quickly, faster than I think I expected it to, and so I've been getting a lot of web form submissions from people. And the hardest part so far is that people have been sharing their stories with me and being exceptionally vulnerable in where they are and what they need, and so humble, so incredibly humble. And it is really hard because I can't help yet. And so to read where people are and know that I can't be there for them right now and like know that it's coming, it is truly the most heartbreaking thing that I have, and I've gone through a lot. But because I know so many people are counting on me and it's such a small team, it feels a little overwhelming. In a, it's also like incredibly motivating because it's just really really validating to know that the need is there. But it's really hard to know that it's a few months out from being able to truly deliver something that's going to be impactful.
I thank you for being so vulnerable about that. And I think the thing to remember that's important in something like this is you're doing this because you see a need, you saw a need and you want to help. And even though you cannot help right in this moment, the outcome of what you're building is eventually going to be able to help so many people, and is such a comes from such a loving and lovely place. And I I absolutely feel deeply what you're talking about. Definitely in our It's Not That Serious whip highlights, we have some incredibly moving stories of different women. And I sometimes am at my desk just like, thank you for sharing that and being so vulnerable and sharing your story so we can share it with the world. And that's what you're doing. And you're going to be able to change these people's lives dramatically. We're just sharing the stories so people can relate and not feel alone. You're actually doing something where you're going to be making a difference. And I'm sure a lot of those people that are sending you stories right now, even just being able to tell someone honestly and openly and vulnerably is like probably a huge relief for a lot of those people that have been writing you. And so I would say that, even though you can't do anything right in this moment, you're still building, give yourself space and grace. But I would say that I'm sure that just being able to express that to you has been a help already for many of these people. And, maybe by the time you're ready to rock and roll, maybe there's a chance you can come back around and still pick up some of those people and lift them up and help them out. But I can see how that would be terribly difficult. Just when you're like, the doors aren't open, the business isn't open yet, the doors aren't open yet, we can't give you the soup yet, we don't have any of the ingredients yet. So
Yes.
I can see how that would be very difficult. And I'm sure you're getting a ton of them because people are struggling right now.
Troubling. Yes. And to circle back to the one of the other questions we talked about the system, there, I send them suggestions, about call this number or try this or try this, and most of the time they will reply with, I tried that and I've done this, or I can't get that anymore, or I've tried this and I'm lost. And so it all compounds to bringing us back to this sort of root cause and the solutions that I'm, going to be delivering soon, is that, we need something better. And all of us collectively are a good solution, at least a good starting point as we start to transition into this world of helping each other. I wanted to mention one other thing. One of the most impactful stories typically that I do get in these are related to domestic violence. And I have implemented, as a female founder and someone who had experienced that in the past, I have implemented a feature in the app called Safe Start. And it is a feature that changed or altered the way that someone who is requesting help, who's in an unsafe situation that needs funds to start over, because they need to get out of an unsafe situation. If a woman's in a situation where she needs to get out, the way that the app will work on launch is that you give your name and your story. You can upload a photo, and then there are 100 live stories and in the queue, and the fund works down those queues and pays out. And so that obviously would not be a very safe situation for someone who's trying to get away and their information's public, and it just wouldn't work. So Safe Start works that we see the information on the back end, but that individual's able to put different information that's public. So you can change the story, you can change the amount, and so what you receive on what you see on the front end is different than what your story actually is. So we really protect privacy on the front end, and then we work with the individual just to make sure that the Stripe verification and the accounts on the back end are really secure. So it's important to me, like I said, as a female founder and someone who's experienced this, that we're going to be helpful in situations like that as well.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. And I think it's really thoughtful of you to have thought of that additional layer, because I'm sure there will be a lot of women that will be experiencing this and will have tried a lot of different things or not even known where to go or what to do. And so this will probably feel like a really smart way of working out of a situation like that. And so for the listeners, what you're building is called United We Fund. And so I kind of want to dig down into it a little bit deeper. So I know you said that you've been building it for months and that it's not ready yet and you're officially going to launch in a couple months, but give the listeners an idea of basically what it is. I know we've been talking about it, but give the listeners an idea of what it basically is and kind of how you envision this looking like when people actually go to the app, and how they can get involved as far as not necessarily their stories yet, but what can they do prior to launch that can help get involved with you.
Sure. So the short of what it is a micro-crowdfunding app. And so when a user logs into the app, the app does not distinguish, as I said, between being a giver or a receiver. So you are just a user when you log in, and you will see the shared fund, right? The first thing you see when you log in, and it will be growing and emptying because you will see a list of individuals who have submitted a need. And so you will be able to scroll to donate if you would like to give $1, $2, any amount you would like. And that amount goes into a shared fund. You don't have to donate or give. You can submit a need if you need something from the community. So, an example of why you might use this app is all of a sudden you find yourself needing 4 new tires on your car, and that's not an expense that you can field at this point in time. So, you might decide to download United We Fund, and you couldn't submit a need for $2,500 for 4 new tires. And you would log into the app and you can submit a need. You would give us your name and ask for $2,500. Once you ask for that, there are some back end processes. But as a user, you would simply see a queue. At any given point in time, there are 100 live stories of people asking for needs. And when the shared fund of everybody giving money to that hits trigger points, it works its way down that queue line and pays out individuals. So we are integrated with Stripe. And so that is how you will receive your money. We do not hold your money at any point in time. Everything is held and paid out through Stripe. And so to actually submit a need, you would have to have a Stripe account. So all users will need to set up Stripe accounts to submit a need. You don't need a Stripe account to contribute to the shared fund. That's with Google Pay, Apple Pay, however you would want to submit a need.
Okay, and so
go ahead. Yeah.
I was going to say I have so many questions, and I know you're still building. So if you're still building this, any of the questions I have, just to say we haven't covered that yet. But do you think there's a limit that you're going to put on how much people can give, and is there a limit on what people can ask for?
No limit on gifting yet. No limit on gifting to the fund. The idea is micro amounts. So if we imagine, millions of us contributing $1, that's a large shared community fund. So we can help a lot of people, but there is no limit. You could give thousands, you could give $40, no limit there. For the first year of launch, we are limiting individual asks to $5,000 per user. Anything over $1,000 for an ask will require an uploaded bill, receipt, an image of some kind, so that on the back end we can verify that ask. So if you have, as an example, if you have a credit card bill that's over that amount and you're asking for help paying that, an upload of that credit card bill would suffice. Things like that. A medical bill, that would suffice as an example.
Okay. And then as far as you said, there's a big pot that everybody can see, and
Yes.
And then it trickles down. So how, for people that are going, okay, well, I'm gonna participate, but how do I know where my money's going? What do you say to people that are thinking that?
Yes. That what you see is the amount, right? So every time you donate, that's upping and going down all in live time. So every time you contribute, you're going to see those amounts increase, decrease, all in live time. That's all transparent. So every gift goes into that shared fund, and every time it empties to pay out, you're going to see that all happen as well. So that fund is all live right in the app.
And how will United We Fund cover your business costs of having Stripe, of having an app, of having people managing this yourself? How are you anticipating paying for that and covering that?
So we take no cut of the shared fund. There is a Stripe processing fee that has nothing to do with the fund. I think it's 2.9%, but that goes directly to Stripe. We do not have anything to do with that. So United We Fund, the only revenue that pays for our operating expenses comes from sponsorship and advertisement from corporations and businesses Individual members can also contribute to the capacity and operational expenses, meaning users can contribute to the app itself for operational expenses. And then the only other additional operational expenses are the upload fees. We do need an upload for everything over $1,000 is the ask for that. There is a fee for that processing to pay for the human who is manually looking at those documents, and that gets paid at the time of upload. It does not come out of your shared fund.
Okay. And are you guys a 501c3, or is that something you are working towards, or?
We are working toward that. That paperwork is filed in New York State. So as of right now, we are a company, not a charity. And so any of the $1, $2 gifts to the shared fund are not tax deductible. And any of the payouts that come to the individuals who are asked would be subjected to any type of income tax in their state where they receive the payout from us. At this point in time, like any other gift from an individual to an individual, like Venmo to Venmo or Stripe to Stripe payment. However, we do have Jovell Digital Foundation filed, like I said, in New York State. So as soon as all of that gets up and running, the intention is to have the shared fund converted to a foundation and donation process so that all of the contributions to the fund would be tax deductible and all of the payouts would be charitable donations and
Awesome.
charitable payouts.
Awesome.
Yes.
And what if, okay, let's say somebody, they're like, I love this idea. And they decide they're going to put in their dollar and, they're loving it. And let's say 6 months from now, they happen to come upon a bunch of money and they want to donate more, and they want to donate specifically to something that's on the Hot Live 100 list, that's on that list of 100. Is there a way for people to donate to specific people's stories, or is it always just going into the shared fund and there's no choices of people wanting to, like if Joe Blow goes, Steve R, he needs his tires, I just want to pay for that, I don't want to put it all into the shared fund, I want to pay $2,000 for his tires. Is there a way for people to do that as well, or can you talk
100%.
us through that?
Yes, absolutely. At any point in time, the app is designed so that an individual can always pay for a story, but it has to be fully funded. So many fundraising apps, you can pay whatever you want, $40, $50 toward that particular story. But in this case, you absolutely can pay for John's tires. You don't have to contribute just to the fund. You could pay for John's tires fully and completely at any point in time and fully fund that individual. Yes, that is absolutely an option as well. You do not have to contribute just to the shared fund. You can fully pay for a story at any point in time.
Cool. I love that. I love having the option of both because,
Yes.
again, today it might look like $1. Tomorrow or next year or 10 years from now, it might look like paying off several of them, right? So I think it's cool that you give that option. Is there any, when people submit stories and, bills, like, hey, I have this $5,000 bill here, what's the process on your end, on the back end, of verifying them or putting them on the live page or not, outside of like just looking at a receipt? Is there a process bigger than that, or how do you determine that this is a valid story or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, and that's one of the things we're still in development on, and we're working out the final details. But we are the initial process is again the Stripe verification. That's our first step. And then on the back end, we have two ways of doing this, right? So the first step is a faster AI verification, which is considering the volume that we anticipate these uploaded documents coming through the app. The first is an AI verification, which is at a fee of $2 per upload. And then we have a human verification, which is $4. And again, you pay that right away. And then the AI one scans for matches, right? So we're just making sure that the individual is who is asking for this. We're making sure that the dollar amounts match up. So you might be asking for more or less than what the amount is, but we just need to verify that these are accurate documents. The dates need to be accurate. They need to match, like we said, to the individual who's requesting this. And then also, as we said initially for the year, we have maximums for the amounts. So we also want to make sure that the same individual is not continuously asking, but that goes further than the names. We're also verifying IP addresses and other cybersecurity measures that are in place that I won't share here, but that we have on the back end to ensure that individuals aren't creating multiple accounts and then continuing to ask for money, because we do want to ensure fairness for all individuals so that people aren't continuously coming back to request more money, even though we know they need it. It's not to say that we don't care and want to help as much as possible, but it's to ensure that everyone who's asking gets a fair opportunity to our shared fund.
I love that you're verifying IP and that you have IP addresses and that you have a back end process for that, because I think a lot of times people think, oh, like Joe Blow is just going to put in 10 receipts and call
That's
them
right.
different names. And, you know,
Yes.
I think the reality is most people are like, hey, I can't pay for these groceries and I need help. But I think a lot of the sometimes a lot of the pushback on things like this is like ridiculous scenarios, and they're not necessarily ridiculous. So I think it is important to have back end process in place to address it. But I'm really happy to
Yes.
hear that you're thinking about that, you're working on that. And I think that
Yes.
will put a lot of people's minds at ease as far as making
Yes.
sure that, okay, if I do give $1 or if I give 5,000 or whatever, that it
Yes.
is going to go to somebody that actually really needs it and all of that.
Agreed. Agreed. That was a very important part of figuring this out, and that came up many times when I was talking about doom scrolling and hearing this, and I would think that was entered my mind so many times. I thought, well, that won't work, and so this was an example of ensuring on the cybersecurity piece and the verification piece. That was part of it that resonated, and on the other side of that coin, it was also really important to me about the struggle side and the piece about the system not being fair, because I'm not here to audit your pantry. I'm not here to say, you know, if when you need $750 or you need $350 because you need food, there's no real way to verify that. And I'm not here to show up at your house and say whether you need, $750 for groceries. If you say you need $750 for groceries, I'm more than happy as an individual to give $1, knowing that you're going to get food. And if you need, and I guess if you don't use it for that, then I still feel good, giving $1, knowing that the majority of people who are getting, using that for food are going to use it for food, right? And then we had to put limits down at some point, and then we put in our process after that.
I love it. I just love this so much. And again, I just love the amount of hope and excitement this whole concept gives me. Like, I can't even imagine you like this has got to be like so fulfilling and so
It is.
exciting and
Yes.
stressful and all the things. Um
Yes.
and um what I will say is, for any of the listeners, we are going to put all of Kelly's information in the show notes, so you'll be able to find her. But tell our listeners where they can find you now, and how they can connect with you now and follow the story and kind of keep updated on what you're doing, so that when you're ready to rock and roll, we're all here and ready to give our dollars.
I love that so much because that's the most important piece of this is that we can't help anyone unless they know about us. So, we can't, the shared fund fills by people. And the needs only show up if someone knows to submit ones. We're just building the infrastructure. I'm just building the machine, but the people operate the machine. And so everyone has to help contribute, just letting it loose. And so that is essentially going to be live late summer for small testing groups and early fall nationally. So right now, the website is unitedwefund.app.com, and the sponsors tab is really how, aside from sharing as much information as possible, if you go to TikTok, which is where the community is really growing right now, if you go to the sponsors section of the website, that is where we just recently released ways that individuals can contribute to keeping the lights on with the app and contribute to operational expenses and capacity. And then also as a small business or a large corporate sponsor, that is where I'm starting to advertise on the website. And because of TikTok and this movement, the website is getting great traffic. And so this is a good opportunity for small businesses and corporate sponsors to start advertising and showing that they're aligning with this movement, and, showing the community that we are here for you, and we're a small business and we're a corporation that's going to stand with the people, and we're going to support you, especially in a time when like this financial insecurity is here and the trust in big corporations is dwindling. It's a good opportunity to show up on the website and say, hey, we're not one of those corporations. We're with you, and you should stick with us, and we're going to stick with you. And I think it's a good opportunity to be a partner with groups of people who have said that we're at enough. We had enough.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. And I'm so thrilled that it's not that serious. You can be in our universe, because there are so many women and men in the It's Not That Serious universe that are really thoughtful and really care about who they're supporting and why. And that is the backbone of what we're doing. And so I'm just so giddy at the idea of exposing what you're doing to all these people and just letting them see the greatness of what you're doing. And it's so exciting. So I am just tickled that we met and that we are able to do this. You've said openly that you might not make money from this, and you're doing it anyway. What gives you that level of conviction to keep going?
Yeah, so far it's just costing me money.
I feel you, girl.
Yeah, yeah. This might not make me money, and that's okay. I'm doing it anyway. And honestly, it's just because this is a huge motivator for me. And I think it really goes back to, the community. It goes back to the community. I mean, anyone who takes 2 seconds to look at TikTok, I mean, not anyone can see the web form, submissions that I'm getting. So that's motivation in and of itself, because I refuse to let any of these people down. That's just a non-negotiable for me. But anyone who takes a minute to look at the community and the comments on TikTok will understand why this is moving forward with or without money. So, and to be fair, as I said, the revenue model doesn't work in my favor. This isn't something that is set up for me to be successful. This is set up for the community to be successful intentionally, because I'm not a bank and I don't want to be a bank. This is built to be different for a reason, because we as a collective group of neighbors and friends deserve better. We don't deserve me to suggest this and then turn around and do exactly what all of the financial institutions have been doing to everyone from the start. So that's not my plan. My plan is to help as many people as I can, regardless.
It's just freaking awesome. I love it so much. Oh, love it. Okay,
Oh,
so at It's Not That Serious, we have a series called our WHIP Highlight, which stands for Women in Power. And we highlight a new WHIP every month. And obviously, we're very girl power over here at It's Not That Serious.
love it.
But power can mean a lot of different things to so many people. So, what does a woman in power mean to you?
I I think it's an inclusive term. I think that it took until I became a leader and in tech and in a founder in a startup to realize that it doesn't mean you have to be a powerful leader to be a powerful woman. And I think it's easier to say that now that I think I've achieved that part of my life, but it's always a hindsight type of moment. And I think it's super important to share that with women who haven't achieved necessarily the title that they want yet or the business goals that they want yet, because it doesn't have to be such a big moment. You know, I'm very lucky that I get to be living my big moment right now. And I love that and I wanted it, and I'm so grateful because it's translating into something that's going to do what I wanted it to do, which was help so many people. But I think it's so important that it's known that women in power just means empowered women, and it comes from within. It doesn't come from without. It doesn't come from external rewards. And I think like the times that I just decided, when I was going through those things in college and I was going through moments with my parents' loss, that I just decided, today is the last day that someone is going to speak to me like that. That means that I'm a powerful woman. And today is the last day that I'm going to work in a career that I don't love. Changes everything. And I think that pulls it all together for me. So I think women in power can sometimes feel exclusionary to someone who feels like they're not powerful. But it's very small moments that make you super powerful.
I love it. And I think you're going to inspire so many women and men to find their internal power. It's what a gift to bring to the world of just helping people find some light, some hope, find their own power, and, maybe find a grocery bill paid off or something, something they
Exactly.
need, right? Oh my gosh.
Exactly.
I am so grateful that you came on the show. I'm so grateful to talk to you. I think this is such a cool idea. I am so inspired by you and so happy to have, like I said, have you in the INTS universe. Again, everyone, I will make sure that all of the information is in the show notes so you can easily find Kelly and what she's doing with United We Fund. We are supporting you all the way and sending you all the
Thank
good
you.
mojo.
It's me who's so grateful. So thank you so
Oh,
much. Bringing this attention to everyone, I can't thank you enough. Thank you so much for having me here. It's really
oh my gosh,
impressive.
we're so excited to see all that you're going to do, and we know it's going to be a massive success.
Thank
And
you.
thank you everybody for listening to Kelly's story and what she's doing at United We Fund. And thank you for supporting INTS. Go get a T-shirt, go get a mug, be good to each other, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
That's a wrap on today's episode of Carrie, It's Not That Serious. If this conversation resonated, subscribe and share it with a WHIP, a woman in power in your life. You can find more conversations, more community, and all the fun INTS merch you love at itsnotthatserious.com. We're building something meaningful here, and I'm so glad you're a part of it. Until next time, remember, It's not that serious.